Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Monday, January 2nd, 2017. I am Dave Biddle flying solo this morning. Well, after the 31-0 debacle against Clemson in the Fiesta Bowl, one thing is crystal clear to me. A change or changes on the offensive coaching staff absolutely need to happen, and I think will happen. I think Urban Meyer is going to take the bull by the horns. It's very similar to what we saw after the 2013 season. So I'll be very surprised if not sometime before signing day or just after signing day, certainly sometime before spring ball starts, you will see a change or changes to this offensive coaching staff. And let's break it down a little bit. Right now, Ohio State has 9 assistant coaches, 5 on offense and 4 on defense. Offense, Ed Warner, Tim Beck, Greg Studrawa, Tony Alford, and Zach Smith. Defense, Greg Schiano, Kerry Combs, Larry Johnson, and the newly hired Bill Davis, who was an advisor this past season and will become probably the linebackers coach for 2017, although Ohio State has not announced that for sure that he's going to be linebackers coach, just that he will be a full-time assistant coach. And here's where it gets interesting. In April, college football will decide whether or not to allow a 10th assistant coach to join each staff across the country. So that would allow Urban Meyer to bring someone on his staff and not have to let anybody go. There's also a scenario where, let's say Tim Beck would go to Tom Herman's staff at Texas, and the NCAA would add a 10th coach. Then the Buckeyes would have 2 coaches that they could hire. But let's say it's just one coach. Let's kind of go through what might happen here. There's obviously Joker Phillips. He's been at Ohio State this past season. He was a quality control coach making $35,000 a year. He can afford it because he had a $2.5 million buyout when he was the head coach at the University of Kentucky. Spent 1 year coaching for the Cleveland Browns and then came to Ohio State in 2016. So he's an option. You could add him to the offensive coaching staff. I'm not sure he's the guy you want to bring in as the offensive coordinator, though. He might be a good position coach. His background is wide receivers. So logically, you think, well, maybe they could replace Zach Smith with Joker Phillips, but I don't think Urban's going to get rid of Zach Smith. He's too close to Earl. I will believe that when I see it, that Urban Meyer is going to let the grandson of his mentor go. Now, stranger things have happened, but I just, from what I hear, that's probably not a likely scenario. But Joker Phillips is a name to keep an eye on. The one that I keep mentioning, anybody who's listened to this show or reads the message boards, or reads stories, or whatever it might be on this site, Kevin Wilson is the name that I think Urban really needs to go after. And I understand there's the quote-unquote PR hit that would entail, but I don't think it would. I think that would blow over in like 2 days, because Kevin Wilson, while we all know he was really fired from Indiana, publicly that was a resignation with a buyout. And again, we all know, they forced him out. But if he did something really egregious, I don't see Indiana playing nice with him. If he did something like really bad, they just would have fired him. This would have been like the Tim Beckman situation at Illinois. And, Illinois, he became a pariah. There was all kinds of things that he did wrong that could be proven. Whereas Kevin Wilson, it sounds like he was kind of being mean to players, but wasn't going so far as to abuse them. There wasn't anything super egregious where he was fired. And I remind everybody, Indiana fired a legend in Bobby Knight. Fired him. I know it was 15 years ago, different administration. The point is, basketball rules at that school. Bobby Knight was a legend at that school, and they fired him. Do you think that they would really play nice with Kevin Wilson and give him a buyout? It was a small buyout compared to what his rest of his contract was for. It's like he got like a $500,000 buyout. Wouldn't that be nice if somebody gave you a small buyout of a $500,000, by the way? I just want to throw that in there. And they said it was a resignation. They said it was philosophical differences. So that's the public stance. So I think Urban and Ohio State could easily withstand that PR hit, and I frankly don't even care about the PR hit. The PR hit was watching this dreadful offense try and play against Clemson, who Clemson's defense has a good collection of NFL players on it, but overall they've given up a lot of points this year. Not to Ohio State. They gave up 0 points. The only time Urban Meyer has been shut out in his 15-year head coaching career. So a change has to happen. I absolutely think a change will happen. Kevin Wilson is the guy. He is a very, very brilliant offensive mind. and he's not going to be running the ship. He would be working under Urban Meyer. He would have to do what Urban Meyer told him. So I just don't see that being the off-the-field situation. I don't think that's as big of an issue as some are making it out to be. And I know there has been contact between Urban Meyer and Kevin Wilson. Now, I've heard they did not meet in Columbus. There was a report out there that they had met face-to-face in Columbus before Ohio State left for Phoenix. That's not what I was told. I've heard their communication has been over the phone. So, but hey, that's still good that they have been in communication. So Kevin Wilson is the direction I think Ohio State needs to go. But again, I mean, it's just something has to be done. This is just like 2013 where the defense was awful. They go up to Michigan. Michigan was terrible in 2013, especially offensively. Michigan puts up 41 points, took a 2-point conversion failing for Michigan to not win that game. Can you imagine that? And then Ohio State goes to the Big Ten championship game, gets down 17-0 against Michigan State, and just the defense let them down in that game again. Everybody talks about the play where Braxton got stuffed at the end, but I mean the defense just was not very good against Michigan State or throughout that 2013 season. And then they capped it off with an awful performance against Clemson. The defense did in 2013. Hey, at least the offense did their part in the Orange Bowl against Clemson 3 seasons ago. It was the exact opposite a couple nights ago, and I certainly think Urban Meyer is going to do something about it. So, again, I hope it's Kevin Wilson, but Joker Phillips, there could be another name that arises. But, again, those are, I think, Kevin Wilson and Joker Phillips are probably going to be at the top of the list. But, again, I think Kevin Wilson is the way to go there. And I hope it happens for the sake of all of you out there, because it's going to be fun watching a real offense with a real offensive coordinator. It's just no coincidence to me that Tom Herman leaves, and Tom Herman wasn't perfect. We had after every game other than the 2014 postseason, there were all kinds of, oh, there goes Mensa Boy again, being predictable, and Mensa Boy doing this. So let's not be revisionist historians. Buckeye fans were on Tom Herman's case, but now we can look at it objectively. He was very, very good, and it's not a coincidence to me that he leaves, and then the offense goes from, a pretty well-oiled machine to looking remedial, looking discombobulated, being predictable. Just an embarrassing offense. So I just can't imagine Urban Meyer sitting around and doing nothing about this. And I was kind of joking I was saying on the plane ride home from Phoenix, Urban should have hired Kevin Wilson and just sworn him in, on the plane right there. But if they could have picked Kevin Wilson up, that would have been really nice. But we'll see what happens. I just think something will definitely happen before spring ball, and it's going to be interesting to follow. And one more topic before I let you go. It's really good news that Billy Price is coming back for his 5th-year senior season, in my opinion. I know Billy Price has been a bit of a whipping boy for fans, to not to the Isaiah Prince extent, but people made fun of the fact that Billy Price was named second-team All-American, by the Coaches Association and all that. But there's no getting around it. Getting a 5th-year senior back that's going to be a 4-year starter. He might move to center now. That's good news, especially when we heard Billy Price. We had heard that he was really leaning toward leaving because he'd been here 4 years. He'd kind of proven everything he needed to prove, but maybe he got paperwork back from the NFL that said, it's probably a good idea you come back. But anyway, regardless of all that, it's just good news that Billy Price is coming back. And you look at this offensive line for next year, it was the weakness, at least one of the weaknesses of the offense this year. But I think this is going to be a good unit next year. 4 starters returning with Price, Jamarco Jones, Michael Jordan, Isaiah Prince. Then they're going to add Malcolm Pridgeon to the mix. I think he'll be the 5th starter. I do think that Price will move inside to center. They also have Brandon Bowen. They have Demetrius Knox, who had to play a lot when Michael Jordan got banged up in the Clemson game. So I think the offensive line, I'm bullish on the offensive line for next year. You get 4 starters back, plus getting Pridgeon. That's huge for Ohio State. So I really like the fact that Billy Price is coming back. Chris Worley announced he's coming back. J.T. Barrett indicated he was going to come back. As for the other guys you're wondering about, I asked Curtis Samuel in the postgame locker room, have you made your decision yet? You said you wanted to wait till after this game to really think about it. He said, I still need to think about it a little bit more. My gut feeling is he will go, but I do know, Alex Gleitman's really close to the situation. New York City guys stick together, but Alex knows from very good sources that Curtis is to a degree torn. Now, again, my gut feeling is he's going to go, but, you're telling me there's a chance. Yeah, I'm telling you there's a chance, Lloyd Christmas. Maybe not 0.001 either. Maybe more like a decent chance, maybe like a 25% chance he'll come back. But I do think Curtis Samuel will leave. And I think there's no question Raekwon McMillan's going to leave, and they're going to lose 3/4 of the secondary. Malik Hooker's gone, in my opinion. Marshawn Lattimore is gone, in my opinion. And Garyon Conley's gone. So they're going to lose all those guys. They're going to lose Tyquan Lewis. There's no doubt about that. Fourth-year junior, Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year. So I think they're going to lose all those guys. But if for some reason Curtis Samuel can come back, along with the Billy Price news, that would be huge going into next year. So we'll wait to see that. We're going to be that's going to be the big thing. Obviously, recruiting is huge right now. But as far as team coverage, coaching changes on offense, and guys leaving for the NFL. It's what we're really going to be keeping tabs on here in the days and weeks to come. So keep it locked to Bucknuts. Hopefully 2017 will bring more wins than 2016 did, but we'll see what happens. I really appreciate you joining me here on the Bucknuts Morning 5, and I hope everyone has a great day. Enjoy watching the football today. Let's hear some Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.